I bought a dog from a garage sale, he was the last of 5. I thought I'd try be merciful, lest he not survive. At first I just tried to distract myself with a box of auto parts, but he whimpered and that was a heartstring tug, and that's where my story starts. It was a blustery day in Brunswick, it was the last thing on my mind. I was just out for a latte, you don't expect what you might find. Well, he squirmed and just fell over his feet. In love, yes sir, you were. I thought, look at me, I've become a bona fide animal rescuer. It seemed like a perfectly benevolent Brunswick kind of a thing to do. That and a jigsaw with 3 pieces missing, you can't unsee it, I just had to. So I took him home, wrapped in my shirt, in the front seat of my jalopy. He drooled all the way, and by the time we got there, the shirt was pretty sloppy. But to think I almost left that sale with some old rusty cog, I thought maybe it was a sign. I'll call him Otto, that's a good name for a dog. Well, no sooner than he'd learned to walk, he started with a run. It was like some darn tornado, timeless race had just begun. It started as amusing like Aunt Jemima's southern fried chicken and such, but this shrimp chicken's kicking started getting heavy-hitting and pretty soon got too much. I was getting overwhelmed with the cyclone at the helm. I thought, what have I bought? Oh, I figured out the hard way. The only way to dodge him was to dance. I said, heel, Otto! Maybe he's just restless, in a little distress. Maybe he should go outside, have a little run around the backyard. So that's exactly what I tried. Well, you ain't never seen a whippersnipper like this little nipper. The grass was almost gone in a flash. He buzzed around a tree and I thought, golly gee, as he dove into the fish pond splash. He dug up my potatoes and he very nearly ate a sack of fertilizer potting mix. I thought, I wonder if it's too late to possibly sedate him with traditional ball or sticks. Perhaps he might prefer the company of other furry little creatures he could possibly meet. Maybe have a sniff and play the traditional way. There was a dog park down the street. I tried to decide where he could run. I could hide Gilpin Park or Wiley Reserve. I tossed a silver coin and just hit me in the groin, and everybody on the footpath had to swerve. I couldn't believe I actually got him on the lead. He pulled me faster than the speed of sound. I was flying down Hope Street hoping that my feet might once again touch the ground. But my heart filled with dread as it came to my head. We were heading straight for Sydney Road. The signal at the train crossing started to descend, but he just shot through. I yelled, heel, Otto! Brunswick Runaway! My life started flashing before my eyes, hashing falafels from the Australian and Lebanese. I wish it was as simple as the smile and the dimple that was enough in the late 80s. But far from a leisurely Sunday walk, this was a rush hour unprecedented. A little more than a hassle past the Edinburgh Castle around the corner what I couldn't have prevented. He sped round the block and through the car park of the Royal Nut Company, and flying on all fours smacked open the doors and started pulling down the shelves on aisle 3. There were chili lime cashews and chocolate bullets splashing through the air like a giant piñata, hemp seeds and dates in a far-flung fate. I couldn't try to pull him back any harder. Finally diverted that disaster, we continued flying faster than any breeze had been down Breeze Street before. Back down Hope into Percy, then Victoria and Mercy into Leslie and the Jazz Lab's door. Smacked me around a couple of corners, I was hotter than a sauna. He was happier than jumping around a scaz. Across the bar and man, oh man, even up onto the piano, and you know it really sounded like jazz. Flashing back out to Victoria, but that ain't half the story. Up toward a set of red traffic lights. Lucky me, he swung a left and heaving heftily. He deftly bounced into a bridal boutique and he bites! Into a wedding dress and in a trice, the joint's a mess. Meanwhile, I'm blinded by a billowed bridal gown. Another mere disaster, finally out, but only after he's mauled and mowed every mannequin down. Thank God I couldn't see for the train all over me when he fleed across the road, but not so kosher. Into Tibbs he tore, enormous tables shrieked and swore. I wished I was far away in Nova Scotia. Kibbe and Tabbouleh flying everywhere, unruly was this run around a record? Really not so. Not until my lifted veil back out the door I had to wail as I headed straight toward the Franco Cazzo. And like an epileptic shot, Continental Supermarket was demolished and destroyed along the way. And then finally to the corner, I wasn't quick enough to warn the store attendants there was nothing I could say. That the beds would all be wrecked, the dining tables all bedecked, but then as though a time warp opened as he leapt one leap, slow motion in the air, he landed in a lounge suite chair, and time froze suddenly, and he stopped still and slept. I wondered then what I should do. He hadn't even had a poo. Should I pick him up and try to take him home? Well, the poor thing must be tired after being so high-wired, but would he stay as still as Ted, my garden gnome? What if he should wake? Well, that would really take the cake. He might freak out and not recognize where he was. I could plead with Mr. Cotso after knowing that it got so reckless. Heck, he's just a little ball of fuzz. Then I had a great idea. I'll get a cage and keep it near so when he stirs I can just quickly put him in. I could read some Deepak Chopra, then Frank starts singing opera and it shocks the puppy clean out of his skin. He gold on hit a chandelier, he jumped so mighty high in fear. When he came down it was nothing but a blur. Back out the door and down the street he shot as fast as his little feet could go, and don't he just keep on his fur. Into the Brunswick mess hall, and did he make a mess? Well, yes, y'all, he even crossed the street into the adult shop. A confetti of prophylactics, this was certainly climactic. I couldn't catch him, I wondered if he'd ever stop. You couldn't believe your Betty Davis, he detoured right into Savers. It's too late, I even thought I might forego the slimmest chance in hell, but I gave it my biggest yell and passed the scale. Well, I did tell heel or toe. Come on back here, Brunswick Runaway. But all the dancing in the street don't stop the fastest living feet that any other living creature's ever seen. Through freshly concreted paths made whirlpools in the Brunswick baths and extra frost beginners at the Brunswick Green. So he came streaking out and known the finest in pre-love clothing past the spotted mallet and the retreat. Past the Mechanics Institute, someone even thought he was cute, but he was already shooting across the street. He barked up the kebab van, even sideways like a crab, ran to the Brunswick Hotel faster than the car that hit it. I was completely out of breath, and if I'm honest, fearing death, and damn to think it was a dog that did it. The World Health Organization couldn't help in litigation with our theater chemist warehouse there. But holy God, Nip and Fissy, this psychotic little shifter skidded sideways into Schnitz in Barclay Square. It was a wide open road where a semi lost its load, and just like that, auto stopped in his track. Had he been crushed like a toffee by 10 fallen bags of coffee, or he simply had a heart attack? I finally got there to the scene to see that broken down machine and wished he was still alive, but I had to let that thought go. I classically cried, swore helpless sorrow to the sky, and as he died I simply sighed, heel or toe. But no more dancing to be done. This doggy did its final run. It could have won on the Brunswick Velodrome racing track, but with my sorry heart impaled, I went back to that garage sale and I told him and asked for my money back.